zone. You do that occasionally. What prompted that change?
Well, we couldn't stop them, right? I mean, it was just an onslaught in the paint. So we had to try something to slow them down, and those things are, the zone's funny, right? A lot of it really is kind of determined on your first couple possessions in it, maybe even the first possession. He switched the zone, and I think we got to stop, and then all of a sudden we got one more, and then there was maybe a five. Then we strung up some, and that was like the only stretch of the second half that we were able to put any sort of consecutive stops together.
Yeah. Does it change your own team's mentality? How much you think it impacts their mentality going to the zone?
Well, I don't know about the mentality, Jonesy. I just think that it just had us in better help positions. We weren't missing cutters, and we weren't we weren't late on that because we were just in a little bit better position, and it got them a little bit out of attack mode instead of it being 2-on-2 at the top with everybody spread. We had 3 defenders up there, so it didn't look as good to throw the roll or don't go in there and shoot the floater or whatever. It just kind of plugged up the middle with the 3-2. So, it just changes the spacing on the court, and that's what we needed to do.
Better start tonight, and your guys were making threes.
Yeah, we came out of the game like we learned our lesson from the last game start, but then we had a third quarter where we looked a little bit like we did the other night at the start. But again, it's lessons to learn, and from my standpoint, I just got to do a little bit better job, maybe a play calling to start the second half to make sure we're getting some movement and aggressive. We got a little jump shot happy, and we were happy about our jump shots in the first half, but it doesn't mean you come out and get jump shot happy to start the second.
Other than that third quarter, it seemed like Kyle and Kawhi were playing off each other, some of the best they've played this whole year. Is that what you saw, and what was kind of working for them?
Well, I just think that first of all, there was kind of some heavy stunting going on back and forth, especially off Kyle. When Kyle hit Kawhi, they'd stun over to kind of close Kawhi's space down, and Kawhi found him right back a few times. Kyle did a really good job of setting the screen sometime and then slipping out, so that confused him and again got him some space as well. But the main thing is, you're right, the vision was there and the willingness to pass it was there, and I credit that more to just some time together, right? It's been a while since Kyle had a long stretch where he was out. Kawhi's been out, for a stretch, and there's 2 games here that they played together back to back.
You're going to get a few days now, Nick, before your next game. How do you see managing that in terms of rest, practice, all that stuff?
Yeah, we'll have a day off, obviously, tomorrow, and then we'll practice the next 2 days, and it'll be good for us, right? There's been few and far between, but we're going to get some of these back. I still think we've played more games than anybody in the NBA, so we're going to get a few of these practice days back that we haven't got all year. There's definitely just a lot of polishing up on things to do and a little bit more organization. But I will say this: we really executed great down the stretch tonight. We even executed some really good special plays. Like to end the half, we ran out within 3.5 seconds. We ran the full court play for a 3, and we did some nice stuff and execution-wise. But there's always polishing up and things to do on that.
Can you talk a little bit about Siakam and his growth and development as a player?
Yeah, he's really been something.
Right?
Yeah, really been something. I talked a little bit in the pregame press conference about, he's really an unheard of, right? He was a late draft pick, played in the D League for a while, and was kind of in and out of even the rotation last year. So he took advantage of an opportunity. Again, being completely honest, I wouldn't have said that was his starting 4 spot to have this year. We were going to try a lot of combinations to start the preseason. It was Serge's spot, last year, and we moved him to the 5 and JV to the 5 exclusively, pretty much. So it opened up a hole at the 4 for some guys to go after, and he took it, right? He took it, and doesn't look like he's going to let go of it. So, and he keeps expanding. Really liked his patience a couple times tonight. Maybe a lot of dribbles to get to the shot he wanted, but he just kind of kept taking the hit and backing his way and using his size and length and his little craftiness around the basket. But again, he continues to improve, and I think he will. He's a serious professional now. He really works at his game.
And your impressions of Luka? Second time you've seen him this year, a triple-double tonight for him.
Incredible, right? One thing I didn't talk about pregame that impressed me, I can't believe his handles. Like, he's up there and getting heat, and he's just vroom, 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 you know, really hard dribbles back and forth and getting space, even when our guys were kind of attacking him, and he would never get back on his heels. We couldn't get him out of rhythm because he was just low and strong and you know, crossing over, and then with the burst he was into the paint. And what incredible touch! Some of those floaters he shot were almost free throw line or a step inside it, and he just seemed like he made every single one of them. And then when we did get enough help there, he'd hang in the air till the last second and throw that incredible two-handed pass out to the right corner. It was he's something else.
How nice was it, or welcome was it down the stretch, most of the fourth quarter, to get something from Kawhi as usual, Kyle as usual, and then Danny Green, Serge both hit some big hoops. Just that kind of.
I mean, it just felt really in rhythm tonight, right? It felt in rhythm, and then at the very end we got Kawhi to where we wanted to get him, and he you know, he made two tough moves and got to where he wanted to go as well. But you're right, just to tick over one with Serge on a screen and roll later in the shot clock, and then Danny making a heck of a move when they force him to do that and open up the lane, and he had to take it, and he did it.